temperature is somewhere the same. No, Mr. Chairman, there's no additions to the agenda.
Okay. County Council to read the closed session items into the records.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman and Supervisors. We've got 4 items on this morning's closed session agenda. Item 1, conference with labor negotiators. The county negotiators are Deputy CAO Adrian Caleb and Ken Caves. The employee organizations up for discussion are all units. Item 2, conference with real property negotiators. The property is APN 049086017. It's property located west of Highway 41 and south of Children's Boulevard. The county negotiators Eric Fleming, CAO, and the negotiating party is Valley Children's Hospital. Item 3 is conference with legal counsel on anticipated litigation, deciding whether to initiate litigation, and there's 1 potential case up for discussion. And then the last item is public employee appointment employment, and that title of position is the Director of Department of Social Services. Any public comment on those items? Now would be the time.
All right. Well, let's go to closed session, gentlemen. County Council, any pronouncements as far as closed session?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Not all the items were taken up in closed session yet, so we will have to continue in this afternoon's session, but no action was taken in this morning's session on any items in closed session.
Thank you. Invocation, Randy Brennan, Grace Community Church. Start you.
Our Heavenly Father, we come before you to do your business, that you would put your pleasure and hand upon our business right here in Madera County. What a beautiful day you've given us, a marvelous spring of rain, and we're thankful for that. And may we cherish these times when it becomes drier to remember that you are the provider as needed. Thank you for each of the board members and the associate personnel that is with the board here, working in continuity together to accomplish the very best for this community. We pray, Father, for your guidance in all things this day. As they go about particular aspects and different items, give them your insight. Empower them to accomplish what needs to be done. Utilize the people of our county, for there's such wonderful talent everywhere. When we come together, certainly in unity we can accomplish so much. May this meeting be pleasing to you. May you be glorified in all things. In Christ's name, amen.
Please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We now open and close in memory of Mr. Wheeler.
Cole McIntosh. He was one of our county employees at the Raymond Road Crew. He was a foreman, actually, and he passed away last week. And his in-laws, Marty and Rochelle Duvall, worked for us, also for the county. And I'd just like a moment of silence for him. He was a great leader, great worker, and left a really, really great family. So maybe a couple of seconds here for his honor. Thank you. And then go ahead.
At this time, I would like to honor my no. Okay, next.
Would you like me to read public comment?
Yes.
Okay. The first 15 minutes of each regular session is set aside for members of the public to comment on any item within the jurisdiction of the board, but not appearing on the agenda. Items presented under public comment may not be discussed or acted upon by the board at this time. For items appearing on the agenda, the public is invited to comment at the time the item is called for consideration by the board. Any person addressing the board under public comment will be limited to a 3-minute presentation to ensure that all interested parties have an opportunity to speak. Any handouts to the board must be submitted to the chief clerk of the board for distribution to the supervisors. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium. Also, all persons addressing the board may state their name and county of residence for the record.
Mr. Wheeler?
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to speak first. I want everybody to notice I got Frank Bigelow Jr.'s hat on. because the Madera County retired employees out there, they have all that booth out there with all those goodies, so if you haven't bought anything from them, go do it. But they got this hat just for me, they said, and it cost me $2. So I told them I'd wear it today, and I just wanted to thank them for all they do for all of our kids in our community for scholarships and stuff that they raise. So I just wanted to honor them with their hat that they got for me. So thank you.
Mr. Wheeler, you look very nice.
Really?
Yes.
And a cowboy hat?
Yes.
Ooh.
Rhonda?
Yes, for public comment?
Sarah Anderson, Madera County. So as you all know, I'm very passionate about the Madera High School's robotics team. So I just wanted to give you an update. The kids won the regional here in Madera, and they qualified for the World Championships that are going to be held on April 18th in Houston, Texas. So they won the regional here. Unfortunately, they only got to the semifinals in Davis, but they did really well, so we're really proud of the team. And they were able to, and so now we're fundraising. The kids are fundraising, and they put together a GoFundMe account, because this year's trip is going to cost each student around $800 without the fundraising, which is the most expensive year so far. And I've been involved as a parent with kids on the robotics. My son was also on the team. Anyway, so we're fundraising. This year the kids' goal is to raise $5,600 in order to to bring that cost down as much as possible. And so far, in 6 days, the kids have raised $1,130. Anyway, if anybody is interested in donating, hit me up, and I can send you the GoFundMe link.
If you could send us that.
I will, and I also have something for y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah?
The robotics team is really great. That's a great opportunity for aspiring young people who are in engineering and math. And I think it gives a leg up to a lot of kids who would never want to be able to work in that part of the industry. So it's really great.
Thank you.
You bet.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Manuel Perez, Madera County Department of Corrections Director. I'd like to address some local media coverage that makes it appear that Madera County Department of Corrections has only recently begun complying with immigration and customs enforcement that's referred to as ICE of the Department of Homeland Security. Despite some recent statements that have appeared in local newspapers, the Department of Corrections has been cooperating with ICE to improve communication of inmate release information and coordinate ICE pickups of released inmates before the district attorney raised the issue in the letter of the Board of Supervisors last month. At no time was Madera County ever classified as a sanctuary county or at risk of being classified as such. The story in the Sierra Star mentioned information ICE may have shared with the district attorney and an agreement between ICE and the district attorney regarding enforcement of federal immigration laws. While we are not aware of the agreement or arrangements the district attorney may have with ICE, the Department of Corrections is responsible for operating the county jail and remains committed to cooperating with ICE with its efforts to enforce federal immigration laws while also ensuring compliance with both federal and state requirements. The Department of Corrections will continue communicating directly with ICE regarding inmate release information and improve coordination of ICE pickups of released inmates. I will work with ICE to improve communication protocols when necessary. Again, Madera County's compliance or cooperation with ICE is not something that only recently began. Although some appear determined to take credit or try to assign blame, the Department of Corrections remains focused and committed to operating the county jail and continuing to work with ICE to help make the community safer. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification, Manuel. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Pettis.
Dale Drozen, Fresno County resident. A few words about the retreat that you're going to have on Wednesday and Thursday at Bass Lake. The cost of it will be a whole other issue at a future date. But Measure L failed, and I believe that a big reason why it failed is because there was so much ammunition for the opposition about the priorities of this board and how money was spent. One of the discussions that you're going to have, or primary discussion for Thursday, is setting the priorities for Madera County. And then in the afternoon is how you're going to implement those priorities. This is probably one of the most important discussions that this board is going to have during the year. It's going to guide you on how you're going to do the budget, and it's going to guide you on projects as they go through. That discussion deserves to be held here, where you're on video, and there are a lot of people, a lot of businessmen and businesswomen that don't come to the meetings, but they sit at their desk and they watch the meetings. They won't be able to see that one. If you want to go back and look at it later, it's on the video. It's archived. The meeting that you have at Bass Lake will not be. I looked at last year's to see what the minutes were or how the priorities were come about, and there's nothing on it. There's no minutes. There's no outline of what you decided on and how you plan to implement it. So think again about having that discussion up there with very few of the citizens of the county being able to watch and hear it. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Pete Nijar, Madera County. I have been very much interested to serve on the Planning Commission, and I've been talking to some of you in the past few years and indicated my desire to serve on the Planning Commission. A few days ago or a few weeks ago, I found out there was an opening in the Madera County Planning Commission. So I approached Mr. Rogers' office, and he asked me to send an application, which I did, and after their evaluation, he recommended kindly to me put as a member of the Planning Commission, but it was halted by the legal counsel. My contention to that is that the legal counsel said that I am not residing in District 2, which is true. I have lived in District 2 from 92 to 2000 in the Country Club area, but I have been running and operating my business, Tackle Box on Road 26, for the last 25 years. And that's my only business, so I almost live there. I work there all day. So only thing is I don't sleep there. So if the intent of I don't know the intent of the rule, why it is. If the intent is to know the area, I think I'm doing pretty good while running a business there and with interface with the customers for 25 years. And if the intent is to have impact on my life, I think the business impacts my life more than merely residing in the area. So my humble request is to reconsider this legal hurdle that we have. My mail, my business address is, my personal address and business address is all at the Tackle Box. Even my driver license, my passport, everything shows the address there. It's just legally that I don't sleep there.
Right on Road 26.
Right on Road 26. And like I said, I've been living there too for 8 years, from 92 to 2000. Then I moved to District 3. Yeah. So if it is possible to request. Otherwise, I'll be very happy to serve on the Assessment Appeals Board anyway. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
I want to just thank Pete for applying, and I would love to have him on as our planning commissioner. He was interviewed by Norm Allender and several of the commissioners, and with a high recommendation. Maybe we could look into why the rule is there, if it can be obfuscated or changed or make an exception. if we could look into that and then come back with some information. I see the planning director back there giving the thumbs up. So we're going to do that and see if we can't make it so, because I think you'd be a valuable asset to the board. Your background is suited to that, engineering, your business acumen. Your residency in District 2 is well noted.
Yes, sir.
And
I've been mechanical engineer for 20 years and business experience for 25 years.
Yeah. So thank you very much, and
thank
we
you
hope
very
we
much
can
for
make
your
that
time.
work.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
I just wanted to make one more kind of a little announcement. We had a forum, I guess, a community meeting up in North Fork about the roundabout that our staff is considering on 274 and 225, and we had about 60 people there, and I just wanted to thank them how professional Gerald Carter, Ahmad, and David Peters from Peters Engineering were, and I would say at least 3/4 of the people came to that meeting against it. By the time they got done, that it was really positive. They done one heck of a professional job explaining where the money comes from, what it can be spent for, and why we're in that position where we are now. So just kudos to our staff. It really took a lot of heat off of myself up there, I tell you, in my community. So thank you.
Sir?
My name is Valerio Tarabini. I lived in Chowchilla for 78 years, next to the house I was born in, and been driving these roads for most of my life, and they haven't been worked on for a good portion of my life. And I've been in several times and complained about the roads, and we never have enough money to do anything out in our area. Now, I'm not the smartest person, but I went on the internet and I found a machine that can crush up a road and lay it back down for 30 cents a linear foot behind this machine, and it's about less than $5,000 a mile. Now, I don't know what the budget is for the road department, but I think you could come up with some money to at least do 4 or 5 miles of road in different areas. Eventually, you'd maybe cover some of it. The way you're going now, it's about like the Orville Dam, where you know you have the problem, but you don't do anything about it. It just carries on. Well, we don't have enough money. There's excuses for it. The best road we have in our area is Avenue 25. Well, now the bridges, when water hit it, they come out and put blocks on the bridge so we couldn't cross it. Now, I heard it was Caltrans's decision to do this, but nobody's getting on to Caltrans to get this thing fixed. Now, they could block it off where they could work on the thing.
That bridge is funded now, and as soon as the water subsides, the work will begin on that bridge. So that is being taken care of, and as you said, Caltrans makes that decision, though. But we've been fighting for 6 years to fund that bridge.
Okay, well,
finally got it funded.
It's about like Orville Dam. You wait till it costs us 10, 15 times as much money to fix it, and
well, the thing is we have 35% of our bridges in Madera County are structurally deficient, and the state just took away. Let me give you a perspective on our road money. We have 1,500 miles of roads in Madera County. We used to have $6 million for that 1,500 miles, which is not a lot of money for 1,500 miles of roads. But they took away. We're down to $3.5 million now. They took away $1.5 million this year to fund other things, the state. So $3.5 million for 1,500 miles of roads. You can barely do 15 miles of road for that. And we try to prioritize, do what we can with potholes, what have you. It's basically a losing proposition. We're going backwards every year.
Well, I realize what you're saying on the total amount.
Yeah.
But if you could do the county roads like where we live, they're not traveled that much. But if you could do them for $4,000 or $5,000 a mile.
Yeah, I don't think that's possible because of you see, we're dealing with more than just chipping up the asphalt and relaying it. There are environmental mitigations. There are other factors involved here. There's delivery of the material. By the way, we did utilize that process that you're speaking of in maintenance districts, and we like what we came up with on that. And those roads have survived for the last 5 years, the ones that I've viewed in Maintenance District 21. A very effective process, and we agree you can get more mileage for the dollar, but it's not near what you're explaining. And I'll let our road commissioner add to this if he'd like to.
Okay, well, I talked to the people that had the machine, and
be sure and give that information to our road commissioner. He's going to come up right now, and you guys can answer some of your questions.
Okay.
We'd love to get one of those machines. We had access to one. We leased it for a while, and we were able to grind up some roads and lay them down. They're not smooth when they're finished, but they're passable, and they last. So we like the process. Go ahead.
Good morning. I'll give you my information, and you can always come and we'll have a chat, and I'll go over how the process of the road fund is.
Okay.
But thank you for coming up and up to the board.
Mr. Tarvini's been a long-time member of Chowchilla, most of his life, and I appreciate you coming this morning.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Board. And also on a related note, I wanted to make a public announcement. Norman Allender, your planning director, in the community of Parkwood, we received CDBG dollars, part of our commitment with the City of Madera to do investments in Parkwood to get it annexed. Next week, within the next week, we don't have the exact dates, we will begin a mill and overlay project in the community of Parkwood. So the entire streets of the community of Parkwood will have a mill and overlay done. It's about a $2 million project being funded by grants from Community Development Block Grant. So this concept of mill and overlay absolutely is the case. We use it. We do it. There are contractors that do it for us. So just so the public knows, not related to the previous gentleman, I just wanted to let in Supervisor Rodriguez's district and those folks in Parkwood, we've been getting the word out. The mill and overlay project in Parkwood is about to begin. Thank you.
Norman, I just want to say thank you, and the people from Parkwood also thank you.
Absolutely.
You worked hard.
Yeah.
So that's the acumen, mill and overlay? Or that's the acronym?
That's what the engineers tell me. I'm a lowly planner, so I can know you've expended my knowledge of mill and overlay. Now I'll have to hand it off to the engineers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Great news. Wow. Oh.
Make sure the lights.
Thank you, sir.
And the name and county of residence.
Thank you. Okay. I'm Miss Wynn. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, I pushed the wrong button. Okay, thank you.
What was your name, ma'am?
Wynn.
Wynn?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I actually came up to speak to you concerning a tax issue that so I was told that if you come before the board, you might get a little help. So I came. We have 2 properties that are just land with no water and no building site. And we met with the tax people, and we wanted to get some of the fees off because they're just lots, and there's added fees. Okay. The other thing was my brother was handling the tax issue, and at this time we found out that it's kind of out of control a little bit. So we also wanted to see about getting if we could get an extension to be able to get it straightened out. It's my sister and I that are left to get this handle. So we thought if we came and you allowed us to speak with you concerning this, to see the sincerity of us trying to get the taxes straightened out.
And I think in terms of getting it changed, or if you think that there's a problem with the amount, through the assessor's office, you can go to the Assessment Appeals Board through that, which Mr. Najjar we're going to be putting him on today behind you. And then I think our treasurer tax collector is coming up to maybe help with the other part about extensions or what it needs to be done.
Is that her right
Yeah,
there?
that's her right there.
They can guide you.
They can guide you through that.
They can help you a lot.
Okay.
Customer service is their number one priority. They are.
Okay. We did meet with Cindy.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing is what we asked was we'd had, and I'm not just saying this, I had told them that I would bring in any information pertaining to health issues was dealt with, and then stepping in to try and hold on to the little property. It's in the, and it's in the Fairmead area, and it's no water there, so the added things that has been added on, we were trying to see if some of the fees may be taken off. We did go to the water department and read assessment. So.
Yes. Tracy Kitty, Madera County Treasurer Tax Collector. As you know, we are in the final throes of conducting our property tax sale online beginning May 20th. And this is what happens at, towards the end, we do get a lot of customer, issues. And these ladies have met with Dan Garcia and Cindy Jones from my office regarding, they have more than one parcel, correct? Yeah, they have more than one parcel. They have 3 different parcels. And one of their issues was the assessed values on them. And so they're, like you said, under the impression that the values are wrong. And of course, then if the assessed values are incorrect, then the taxes are incorrect, and just so on and so forth. Dan is in the audience. Dan Garcia, you want to come and give us a little bit of an update about your conversation at the meeting? I don't think that, I think at this time we were going to...
Should have told me.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's okay.
So we're going to delay it, I think, for them.
Tracy,
I don't want the whole story here.
Tracy,
Why don't you
Tracy,
take
why
them
don't
back
you
there?
take them to the back room and discuss this issue?
Here, keep those. I just want to let you know that we are aware of the situation, and we try to work with them. I always say I'm the tax collector, not the tax sailor,
Right.
So I'm not in the business to sell property. That's not what we're here for, but we are here to collect, fair and just taxes. So
I just
Thank you.
want to
Have
say
a
real
private
quick.
meeting, please.
I would just like to say something
Sure, go
to the
ahead.
Board of Supervisor about our family. And I don't know if any of you know Enid Amy. Do you?
Yes.
Do you know Emily Amy?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Then
Nettie
you know
Amy?
that they put the water into the Fairmead area. And now Madera County owns the water. My mother, when I was a little girl.
Actually, we don't. We don't own the water. It belongs to the residents of that district, MD 33.
Who is the supervisor for?
I am.
Okay.
So MD 33 is owned by the residents of Fairmead, and all we do is manage the water. We manage the circumstances of that for the residents of of Fairmead.
Well,
So they still own it.
Well, they chose to change it, and when my grandfather and my mother supplied water for the community, they never turned anybody off. The residents didn't lose their property because that they didn't pay their water bill. And my family has been, 200 years in the community, and we would like to be able to keep our property. We would like to be able to have a payment plan. And I was informed today on the way from, I'm driving, and I'm not supposed to be driving because I broke my ankle and I came from Oakland, California to be here. But I was told that they have and I don't know where it is, so I'm asking you guys where it is, that there's an agency in Madeira, in Madeira, that helps senior citizens with their tax, so they can be able to keep their.
I'm not aware of that.
It's CAPMC.
Oh, CAPMC.
Community Action Partnership, Madera County. And what's the address, Melissa?
Anyway, our staff should be able to work with you. If there is a way for things to be accomplished within the law, then we can do that. We'll do our best to help you, but we have to work within the laws. And that guides everything we have to do. So the state of California has laws regarding these very things. So, and we've afforded our residents every opportunity available to us.
Melissa DeSilva that used to work at CAPMC, they could probably help you know where to go for that.
Okay. I would also just like to request that the redemption penalty, can you explain that to me?
I think back in the...
I think you better talk to staff on this. We got to move on. Tracy, would you discuss that issue with her? She's behind you.
He told...
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll
talk to you, okay?
She'll explain it all.
All right. Listen, guys, wait a minute. Let me speak, okay? Take care of it, Tracy.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Does anybody else want to speak? If not, we'll move on.
Okay, next is a consent calendar.
Does anybody on the board have a
I've got
Brett
one.
Fraser?
On agenda item R. That's the MD10A for the feasibility study for meters and pipe replacement. I understand that we have. We already know that what we think it's going to cost to replace it for the meters and pipes is like $15.5 million. We're going to spend $500,000. Is that correct on this feasibility study?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Ahmad Al-Kayat, Public Works Director. Yes, Supervisor. Back in 2012-2013, consulting with staff and on the ground, we know, or they know best, what is the need to improve the distribution system of the MD10A area. And about 10 miles or so of new pipe was needed, per their estimate. And with this estimate, we went to the state and we applied for design-build funding agreement, and the cost for that was $15.5 million. And upon this, there was needed to be a Prop 218, and the state decided that the Prop 218 should raise the monthly assessment $83 just to cover for this low-interest loan. We met with the property, many town hall meetings. Exactly a year ago, it was decided that this may be a heavy burden on the community, and the state, Cassie Shohan, suggested that how about we take it from design build into just conventional design and then construction, in this matter we will have a more accurate need or assessment for the system, maybe less, maybe more. But this $500,000, up to $500,000 planning loan will basically do a feasibility study, give us alternatives, and also give us plans and specs ready to build if we move on to the construction stage. So with that, this at least will be it's a better engineering study to get the needs of the system.
And I get that. If we know if we have, like you said at the beginning, the guys on the ground know better than anybody else. So why am I going to take a $15.5 million project and add $500,000 to it?
I see. Okay. It's not an addition. It's basically we're separating to two phases.
So in that $15.5 million, the original, did it have built into that project $500,000 for a feasibility study? So it was a $15 million project with $500,000 feasibility?
Correct. It was a design, build, one-shot construction project, so where the design will be provided and all the feasibility study will be provided. So instead of going once for 15.5, we're going to take the 0.5, do the phase one, the planning. Maybe we will have a better alternative or maybe cheaper alternative, but at least we will have a better understanding of exactly the needs and compare them to staff recommendations. So it's not an addition. It's basically taking out that part of the design build, take the design separate, and then...
Okay, so to be clear, this is different than a needs assessment that is going to be done with an engineer's estimate on the rate studies.
Correct, it is. This is needed by the state because by 2025, that district and all water systems need to be metered. So for the state to approve the meters, they need to approve them on proper infrastructure. So that will, just like if you recall with Rolling Hills, some of the constituents said, why don't we put the meters in our backyards? So that's also prompted the state to say, okay, let's look at that, give it more time and study. If putting meters in the easement in people's backyards will work, then they are willing to entertain it. But absent a proper study, they will not.
And that's also an issue that we have in the ranchos that has created a lot higher. This $15.5 million was
Absolutely.
Bringing the water mains to the front.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to repipe everything, the meters in the front. So if we do this feasibility study, can they study also keeping it in the easements where they're at and reading the meters by telemetry? Because that could lower the price. I could stomach spending $500,000 to think about it in a different way if we can. I mean, my idea is this needs to save at least $500,001 off of the initial $15 million. We need to save at least $1.
That is the goal.
Do you know what I mean?
That is the goal. You're absolutely
I don't want this to end up being $16 million project now when yesterday it was $15.5 million.
But please, I'd like to just make clear that this is a 2012 estimate, the 15.5,
Yeah.
but we know the quantity of what we are replacing. But this study will do exactly what you said. The state is willing to entertain the idea of putting the meters in people's backyards where the mains are, if the feasibility study determines it's okay.
And here's my other concern, because we don't have $500,000 in their ACO account.
Correct.
So we're going to have to go out a 218 election for this $500,000, and people are going to have to vote to raise their rates just to pay for this study. And then we're going to go out after the study is done and ask them to raise their rates again. And they're going to say, I already raised my rates for the, you told me that we were getting, that's the reason I raised my rates, was because we were going to get the meters and leaky pipe replacement.
You are absolutely.
I'm just guessing that that's what they're going to say.
And this is why we went with the prior solution, which is the one design build, one fee increase, and we get it all done. But what you said is accurate. After we submit this application, and by the way, this application is being submitted on our behalf to save cost by the California Rural Association, which the state contracted with them on our behalf. So they will do all the legwork. After this is submitted, it will go through the financial review by the state, and then they will determine what is the new assessment would be, and that's when we go for Prop 218 for Phase 1, which is the planning, up to $500,000.
I just want to know, as the Public Works Director.
Yes, sir.
Because you'll be the one that will be going out for the RFQ, RFP on this project. And when you have the initial meetings with them, I know that you would, in a perfect world, would want the mains in the front yard or in the right of way.
Yes.
But if we could save half on a project like this, would you back that?
I will back it, especially that we are undergoing the county-wide study that will properly assess each district.
You talked before you got there, Normie.
So the study that we have that will assess.
If it's the right thing to do, it's the right thing to
Absolutely.
do. And I will always
Absolutely.
back up. But I just want to know that we're not going to steer them away from an option that could be less expensive.
Yes.
For the people.
The county-wide study will take into consideration what we are replacing currently with this plan. If we replace half of the pipes, if we replace 100% of the pipes, and then there will be built in the future improvement task in the assessment. So it will, of course, we will do everything possible to have a more sufficient system and working solution.
I don't like having to go out to the 218 twice, but I mean, we'll have to look at this.
Yeah, okay. 20-25 meters, yeah.
Thank you. And just, Supervisor, if you do want more discussion, we're more than happy to entertain that to make sure that we're not jumping the gun or anything. But my understanding is that switching from a certain approach with design build to a more conventional approach, and no option, I'll tell you, I won't let any option that saves money be thrown away without studying and your office know about it. So we'll give you that commitment.
So we'll probably have a town hall here pretty soon.
I always enjoy those, yes.
Don't leave yet, Ahmad. Ahmad, don't leave yet.
Yes, sir.
If you're done, Brett.
I'm done.
Okay.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yeah, thank you. On item S, the 22A district. Is that the commission approve this first, the committee, to move forward on this?
Well, today, basically, the notice of completion was signed by me through Bill. Bill is here. He brought it to me. Of course, it's the date of the actual. Bill, would you like to bring this up? Because he's dealing with the USDA over this project. Correct, yes. And the MD22A Sewer Oversight Committee is always on the know. They know exactly where we at with every meeting, every monthly meeting.
We've had it passed, you know what happened that they didn't.
Absolutely.
And the other thing I wanted to say is that when I first got elected, we had put in for grants for some of these water districts, Brett. and in those days, we got the grant covered everything from the study, the engineering to the doing it. Well, then the state DWR decided they didn't want to do those like that, and they held those up for over 8 years until they come up with this new plan where they have to do 3 steps. And it does make it really confusing for these landowners when you try to explain that to them. First time you're going to pay for the study. The next time you're going to pay for the engineering. The next time you're going to pay for the job. And it's really confusing. I mean, I've had some knockdown dragouts with customers up there in all our districts.
And by the time you get to the actual project, they're tired of voting in new rate increases.
New fees, and it's prolonged it for years. For years. It's not just months. It's not weeks. This is years. So
money wasted.
Thank you guys for doing a good job and keeping on top of it, because it's not easy for when the state keeps changing these rules on us.
Thank you.
That's all I have on the consent calendar, Max.
Okay.
It's not public comment.
Supervisor Dave Rogers, did you want to say something?
Yes, EFG, I'd like to ask.
Which one, I'm sorry?
The E, F, and G.
T, F, and G?
E.
E. E as in Elroy.
Oh.
Well, I can help you out for F and G.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. Mike Gonzalez, Assistant Director, DOC Madera. Board members. Question, sir.
Yes, the money that's used for this, is that general fund money?
Negative. That's all CCP.
Okay, I thought it might be, but
Right.
I just wanted to make sure.
No, it's all for E and F. It's all, or excuse me, F and G. It's all CCP money.
Not that I don't think it's money well spent. I was just trying to think outside the box and push it away from the general fund.
Absolutely.
Because that's just so taxed anyway. So
Right.
For other things.
Absolutely.
And I think it's money well spent to get these incarcerated people and their education, encourage them to get their education, because they'll have better opportunity if they eventually get out, and when they eventually get out, than they would otherwise.
Right. That's just a continuum of services, like you said, that we're providing, and their contracts going to an end. So we're
Right. And I think you guys do a great job of programming. I think you're unparalleled in the state in programming. I know that your report card on that is tremendous, so thank you.
We thank you. A lot of good staff participating in that to keep it going. And we'll discuss some other stuff once we get up on the hill.
Anything you wanted to add?
Strategies. No, I think just continue to thank the board for the support that DOC gets. Working with Mr. Fleming's office and their staff, the board has been tremendous. And this community is very fortunate to have collaboration of Board of Supervisors and DOC and county administration. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
On the E, I don't know who would answer that. Maybe Dennis would answer it. It's a residential treatment for offenders under community supervision. I don't know who would answer that.
It's definitely not Dennis, I can see.
Supervisor Rogers.
That's going to be probably Rick Dupree's.
Oh, okay. And
Is it a
he's not
funding?
here?
Is it a finance?
I did not see anybody.
I just wondered what funds that, and is it?
I have that.
Okay.
This Supervisor Rogers, excuse me. This comes out of the Community Correction Partnership. These are AB 109 funds. These are
Okay,
not
that's what I
general
thought
funds.
too.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Dale.
Dale Drozen, Fresno County. On the Ranchos MD10, is this $500,000 going to be a loan, or is it going to be a grant?
Loan.
Okay. Is the next phase of it going to be a loan or a grant?
Loan.
And then the main project is 100% grant?
Loan. This is not the VTR, the Valley Teen Ranch project. This is the pipe replacement and meter installation. So this is not so the other one that is fully grant funded is the consolidation between MUSD, VTR, and MD10A. This one is a separate project altogether.
And so the $15 million plus the engineering study is all a loan. It's not a
all alone. It would have to be, so they would have to, this would have to be 218 election to raise their rates, and the initial estimate was like $83, which we've talked about with the residents at one of my town halls.
Okay, well, when the original one went through the board, the agenda said it was grant.
Which one?
I don't know.
It's been a couple of months. That's the consolidation.
Oh, that was just the consolidation.
That was just the consolidation.
Do with this one.
Yeah, and that one is grant funded as long as the state doesn't change.
Something on the pipes in the backyards. They're not just backyards; they're easements. I had the discussion, numerous phone calls with Cassie Chuan, and numerous emails. And she checked with their engineering. She checked with their overhead. They have the same situation in Fresno. They have financed many projects in Fresno that are...
Yeah, they always said that they couldn't do the work, but if it's an easement, they should be able to do the work in the backyard.
And I know in the case of Rolling Hills, they also have electricity and cable TV and phone running on that easement. Mm-hmm. So it is a legal easement.
Yeah.
And they said they could fund it on that easement. But just to make sure, the entire project of the repair and
meter
Ranchos is going to be low-interest loan.
Low-interest loan.
And it'll be 15 to 16 million.
And that was our initial estimate, apparently in 2012.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Dale. Vaughn?
Good morning. Vaughn Del Reynoso, Public Health Director. Supervisor Wheeler, regarding item M, previously you had asked me how many HIV/AIDS cases we have in our county, and the number is 55.
What is
so,
it?
55.
55, thank you.
Thank you.
How about it? You kept it in your mind.
Yes.
That's how smart our staff is. Isn't our staff great? Yeah, I'll tell you.
Excellent.
Thank you, Vaughn.
There being no more questions.
I'll move to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
Okay, first and second, roll call.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Rhonda,
Okay, what did the
proclamation?
Okay, the National Public Health Week. Whereas the week of April 3 through 9, 2017 is National Public Health Week, and the theme is Healthiest Nation 2030. And whereas since 1995, the American Public Health Association, through its sponsorship of National Public Health Week, has educated the public, policymakers, and public health professionals about issues important to improving the public health. And whereas over the past 25 years, U.S. life expectancy has increased, but at a slower rate than in other countries, and studies consistently show we have a lower life expectancy than comparable countries. And whereas there is a significant difference in health status, such as obesity, poor mental health, and infectious disease, of people living in the healthiest states compared to people living in the least healthy states. And whereas the public health professionals help communities prevent, prepare for, withstand, and recover from the impact of full range of health threats, including disease outbreaks such as the Zika virus, natural disasters, and disasters caused by human activity. And whereas the public health action, together with scientific and technological advances, have played a major role in reducing and, in some cases, eliminating the spread of infectious disease and in establishing today's disease surveillance and control systems. And whereas the percentage of adults smoking cigarettes in the U.S., the leading cause of preventable disease and death in this nation, decreased from 20.9% in 2005 to 15.1% in 2015. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Madera, State of California, does hereby proclaim the week of April 3 through 9, 2017 as National Public Health Week 2017 in Madera County, and calls upon the people of the County of Madera to observe this week by helping families, friends, neighbors, co-workers, and leaders better understand the value of public health and supporting great opportunities to adopt preventive lifestyle habits in light of this year's theme, Healthiest Nation 2013.
Thank you. Before you step down, I just want to say a few words about this week. So, as in your proclamation, we're all over the county doing activities every day. So yesterday we were talking about teen pregnancy rates. Today we are out there. If you haven't gotten your water bottle and tasted some of that wonderful fruit-infused water, please do so. So we're about introducing our community to a healthier way of consuming beverage. And so I have some staff here that will be here all day to introduce that to the staff in this building. And I also want to take a second to thank all of you for making it possible for us to install hydration stations in each of these floors. And we're doing that throughout the county because we believe that water is the best beverage, the healthiest beverage. We are also on Wednesday doing safe routes to school. So in promoting healthy lifestyle, we are also partnering up with the schools to do that. So tomorrow it'll be healthy routes to school, walking the kiddies and the school. On Thursday, we are doing a food distribution and health screening at McNally Park. And on Friday, we are doing a Know Your Numbers event at the Madera Community College. And so also here with me today, we have a wonderful program in our department called Prevention First. And that's where we acknowledge that our county has a pretty high number of diabetes, and it is a preventable disease that we'd like to partner up with various entities in our community. So with this Prevention First program, we're partnering up with healthcare providers, with schools, with families to teach people, to teach our community about healthier ways of eating and active living. And so I'd like to introduce you to Ileana, who is one of our program coordinators, and to acknowledge and give our awards to elementary school kids who designed the posters that you are seeing throughout the building. Ileana?
So, last week was Diabetes Alert Day. It was March 28th. It's held every year. And this year, the health department wanted to do an activity with the children. We wanted them to be involved with diabetes awareness. So we held a drawing contest, and we did actually get a little bit of media coverage about Diabetes Alert Day and our efforts in the Madera County Public Health Department. And so we drew 3 winners from this drawing contest. Unfortunately, one child couldn't be here today, but we have 2 winners today. And I'd like to recognize the winners of this year's Diabetes Alert Day drawing contest, and it's Layla. You see this beautiful young lady right here, and Juan, if they can come up. And I did want to share with you, if we can share the posters that were made for the community this year, if you can, maybe if we can approach. Yeah. They will be great leaders in our community, I am sure. So, and I'm sure their parents are very proud of them as well. We also have one of their principals that came to support them as well.
Okay. That is cool. Yeah, that's very nice. And I put my hat on for this one. Yeah.
So thank you for your support of our department and our efforts.
Public hearing, item 6A, Treasurer Tax Collector Department. Hearing to consider an ordinance revising the fee schedule for services provided by the Office of the Treasurer Tax Collector and authorizing future adjustments of certain fees based on the Consumer Price Index.
Hi, good morning. Treasurer Tax Collector Tracy Kennedy. Regarding our fee increase, so we're looking at all of our fees. We have probably about 40 or 50 fees, and here's 3. So this is a preview of coming attractions. So if there's any questions, we're just trying to recover our costs, essentially.
Okay. Any comments from the board? From the public? Bring it back to the board for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second. We have first and second. Roll call.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Vote passes 4-0 with one away from the dais.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
7B, Social Services Department, presentation of proclamation naming April 2017 as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. Whereas each year, the month of April is nationally recognized as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month, as whereas currently 297 children are in and out of home placement throughout Madera County and surrounding areas, and whereas a majority of child abuse cases stem from situations and conditions that are preventable within our communities, are supportive, active, and engaged, and whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships among county agencies, schools, religious organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community, and whereas the Madera County Department of Social Services will continue to make every effort to both enhance child abuse prevention services and promote child abuse awareness through the community. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Madera, State of California, does hereby proclaim April 2017 as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month in Madera County.
Good morning. Hub Walsh with your interim director for Department of Social Services. As you've heard in the proclamation, child abuse prevention is really not just a DSS focus, but really a community focus. And with that endeavor, we have representatives from the Madera County Child Abuse Prevention Council to give you a couple of comments and also to share some information with you. So,
good morning, Board of Supervisors and Chairman. My name is Maria Salazar, Executive Director for the Madera County Child Abuse Prevention Council. And with me today is the president of our council. It would be Sandra Mendez right here. So we're here today for the proclamation this April for child abuse prevention and awareness for the month of April. And we just wanted to give you guys some goodies. In your goodies, you'll find a blue ribbon pin. I wanted this to represent hope for you guys, just to keep in mind the children that go neglected and unheard, the youth that may have been abused multiple times, and they reflect that on their misconduct at some time, screaming out for that help. The families, the parents, the primary caregivers that find it difficult to parent as kids, children, as we were once, do not come with a manual. Plus, on top of that, trying to deal with their own past trauma. So it may be difficult, and we try to refer them to any resources in the community to empower them. Which brings me to the next goodie, is the bracelet, which I would like to represent strength. It reads, "I can prevent child abuse." It shows empowerment to anybody experiencing, any children experiencing any abuse they're going through at that moment, any person witnessing, and as a bystander, being empowered to do a report, and if you are a mandated reporter, to know that you are one and to be sure to do one. And then also to bring empowerment to those parents or caregivers that have dealt with their own trauma and are dealing with their own trauma as they're trying to even parent their child. The next one I would like to point out to is the sticker. It reads, "Protejamos a los niños." So let's protect the children. And just because it is a sticker, I would like for this to represent the community sticking together and any type of distortion in the community. Different agencies coming together for that common goal of the child, the youth, the minor, experiencing some type of abuse or neglect. The next one I would like to bring is the pen. It's a MC CAPC pen, so it has our logo, Madera County Child Abuse Prevention. Just to remind you that every time you're writing and using it, when you feel the liquid and reflecting on it as it's lining on, making your mark on the paper, to reflect on that you're putting an imprint in that paper. You're making a difference in that paper. And as you're holding the pen, feeling how solid it is, you're referring to yourself as you're as solid as can be, and you can make that change. And just metaphorically bringing that to real life to our community in Madera County, that together we can make a change. As you see, DSS, Madera County Child Abuse Prevention Council, Victim Services from MC CAPC, all these agencies coming together and providing different activities to the community. So So just in conclusion, you'll see, I'm hoping you got a flyer with our different CAPC activities that we'll be having going on. We're going to be launching the banner pretty soon on the overcross on Yosemite Avenue, providing some parenting workshops that are going to be covering child development and abuse, and then child abuse and building resilience. Our goal is really to build resilience and provide that prevention work, as well as linking people to the resources that is needed for them. We're going to be really focusing on outreach work throughout the month, and then we'll have the office decorating contest, and we'll be posting the winners and the different offices and the artwork they have posted on their sites on our website, which will be launched by the 6th of this April. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Board members, want to jump in presentation?
Yeah, I was going to just say something really quick. First of all, thank you for this work, but I just wanted to compliment you personally on the thought that you put into what these things meant and how they came together. A lot of times we'll get something like this, but then I was thinking, you get the pen and it's supposed to just remind you of it, but the analogies you use, the metaphors, the stickers taken together, I just wanted to compliment you and say what a great job you did in terms of making this an impactful presentation to really bring it home. So thank you for all of your hard work, and this is not an easy area to be a part of, but thank you for all of both of your work in this area.
Thank you, and I'd also like to mention something on behalf of the Executive Board. This is Maria Salazar's first year as Executive Director, and she has really impressed upon us so much diversity, so much change, and we appreciate everything that she's been doing for the council and for the community.
That's great.
Thank you for your time.
7C, Board of Supervisors Department, discussion and consideration of approval of a proclamation urging park users to refrain from using tobacco products in Courthouse Park. Whereas tobacco-related disease is the #1 cause of death, killing more people than AIDS, alcohol, car accidents, fires, illegal drugs, murders, and suicides combined. And whereas the Environmental Protection Agency has classified secondhand smoke as a Group A human carcinogen and therefore concludes that the secondhand smoke is a risk to non-smokers. And whereas there is no safe level of exposure to secondhand smoke and even brief exposure can cause immediate harm. And whereas cigarette butts pose a significant litter burden and they are the largest source of outdoor recreation trash in parks and the single most littered item in the world. And whereas adults are often role models for young people and adults who smoke set a bad example for youth. And whereas it is the county's interest and the interest of park users to be aware of the risk posed by secondhand smoke and to acknowledge the desirability of adults providing good role models for kids. And whereas the county encourages the use of park facilities in a safe and healthy manner, and the Department of Public Health have recommended the installation of signage requesting volunteer compliance of park patrons not to smoke. Now therefore it be proclaimed that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Madera, State of California, in recognition of National Public Health Week, encourages residents to refrain from smoking in Courthouse Park.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Anthony Duhon, and I am Chief of Staff for Supervisor Poitras. I guess I'm representing the board today with our proclamation. So, a little bit of background for Courthouse Park. I've been a resident since I was 1 year old of Madera County, and unfortunately, there are certain connotations and certain ideas of this very underutilized park, which is just down the street from us. I remember growing up, a lot of times people would say, "Oh, this is old man park or homeless man park," But unfortunately, we are hoping, as a board, to actually change that. One of the things is, I guess it's kind of been one of my pet projects. I want to be able to see what we can do, because it is county owned, and I think there's a lot of opportunities we can to actually make this more family focused. So this last month, Supervisor Poitras sent out a newsletter, and also with that newsletter there was a poll in there. And apparently it became kind of a lightning rod where we ended up getting 282 responses about the Courthouse Park. So we just asked only 3 questions, like how often do they visit, why don't you visit more if you don't visit a lot, and also what do you want to see in the park? Because right now, if you guys have seen, there aren't many inhabitants that actually visit the park. So, I got a few sad responses in regards to how many times people actually visit. They said 49% of them, of individuals, visit maybe once the whole year, once or twice a year, and most of the times that's because of the parade that happens there. 38% of it just never go at all. So of course some of the questions were, well, why is that the case? And they said, so now I'll give you some of our stats for there. So 59% of the people said there is nothing to do in the park. 56% of the people, wait, so that doesn't work. Those aren't numbers. Yeah, so 151 individuals said there's nothing to do in the park. 147 said I do not feel safe taking my family to the park. So I think this is kind of the first step that we're hoping to be able to address in that aspect. I know that the Madera Arts Council and also the City of Madera have been working to kind of do a downtown revitalization. But the thing is, we don't know how long that's going to take. That may be up to 20 years. We have opportunities that we're able to do now that we can actually start changing the perception of downtown. So that was kind of the first step to be able to make it more family oriented, make it a smoke-free park. So I also did add, if you guys had attached our study with the Respiratory Health Association, where it kind of talks about how it's worked in other places. We don't necessarily need to have actually having a proclamation or even just having a small ordinance. It's usually self-enforced, and that is helpful. But this is less of kind of making new laws or making a nanny state, but this is more sending a message to residents that we understand and we hear you guys, and we want to make sure that we are properly representing you. I did add, I just gave you guys, and I did provide it to the clerk, was the stats of, I think I may have gave mine away, about the cost of smoking as well. Like I said, I'm not here to lecture people on their personal choices. But the thing is, when it does affect other people, especially children, that is a pretty big deal. And they did say, right now, smokers lose 17 years of their life. So that's 17 years that they're able to actually provide to their children, actually be able to be there for their children. And also, it's $240 per resident for individuals to actually deal with the litter and also just the health effects of smoking as well. So, we did have a bit of public comment, and there's quite a bit of comment, and I'm going to read just a couple if you don't mind, and I'll make sure to share the rest. Not all of them were positive. Unfortunately, there's some people have strong feelings about Courthouse Park, I've come to realize. But some of them, so the first person was, offering safety, making it a family-friendly environment, and smoke and drug-free park would help the community feel safe and attend more functions there. But also offering a luncheon spot would also, perhaps a bistro would be a really great addition. So I'm reading how they wrote it. And also people are saying about annual events, Christmas in the park, various organizations. And then also, I guess in the poll, we did talk about how a lot of people were saying that they would love to be able to have they'd like to have events like farmers markets and weekend activities. They'd love to install a playground. That was actually 42% of the respondents picked that. And actually 30%, because you're able to pick multiple, they said they would actually add a coffee shop or a building for people to meet, a meeting area to be in a central location for all the various different places. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but that's something that I think it's something for us to think about. So that's kind of my spiel today. Does anybody have any questions I can answer?
Anthony, just let me say, they're here about, close to a year ago, this board did appropriate the money for the improvements of the parks in different districts. And and I know you have gone through the park, you can see that's being cleaned up. The trees that were dead or dying have been removed. A lot of the branches and new trees have been planted, and the lawn has been reseeded and fertilized. In fact, I went over there 2 days ago, and 2 trees went down because of high winds. And we had one of the workers out there cutting it up and removing it. But we are trying to improve that park out there, and hopefully, and I think Supervisor Fortress and the rest of the board agree that perhaps we can remove that building that was part of the jail. A lot of people have complained about that building, and we're trying to find a grant so we can remove it and beautify more of that park. We have a beautiful courthouse, and we want to do the same thing with the park. Brett, go ahead and take the floor.
Since it was the jail annex, it can be like the annex kitchen too. That could be the bistro over there. Let's see if we can get the Pardinis to put their another restaurant in Madera. But no, I think it's. Yeah, Papa Murphy's. Maybe we can put some ovens over there. You can just grab it at Papa Murphy's. But then, no, never mind. So I think it's important to do this. I think we've seen a large change in it over the last year. It seems clean. I've had a lot of people tell me how nice it looks, and then there's the other side that says, how come you took out all of our trees, and how come you don't let people go into the park anymore, and it's now the one thing that we also have to realize, obviously we're talking about the smoking part here, but whenever we push out this undesirables or that problem doesn't go away, it's just no longer in our park. It does go out into the surrounding areas of the community. I know with a business 2 blocks away, we've had to run people out of our trash enclosure that is doing drugs and some pretty nefarious things. So there always is going to be an impact when we do something like this, but that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be done, because here we're paying for the park. It's it's the only county park that we can have people come and congregate in. I know I go there at least twice a year for Norm's VFW for Veterans Day and Memorial Day, and then also for Christmas at the courthouse. And so I've never felt uncomfortable there, but I'm 6'3", 250, so it's a little easier to walk. I know, I need to. But it's been I remember going there as a kid and continuing to go there, and the cleaner it is, and I would like to not have my kids have to smell smoking when they're out there. So you've got my support.
Yeah, and also to address, we are aware, there is a homeless issue that we are trying to address. We're trying to work, in accordance with, the City of Madera, Department of Social Services, kind of be able to find a holistic approach, because it's a very tough issue, and it's not the most fun issue to kind of address, but it needs to happen for us to make sure that our city is growing, and also our county is, growing at a healthy rate as well.
Mm-hmm. Supervisor Fortress?
Right. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you so much, Anthony, for your hard work moving this resolution forward and taking a strong interest in the park. I think Courthouse Park, it's representative of, highly representative of our county and our city. And it's with the courthouse and the history and everything that a lot of the old-timers remember about Courthouse Park. And I think this gives us a great opportunity to pick some low-hanging fruit without a lot of cost and investment to improve downtown Madera. And it also gives us an opportunity to work with our city partners. Again, it's a situation that shouldn't really create any controversy on whatever. It's called attracting folks and inviting people and organizations to have events and to enjoy our downtown amenities. So, again, I think we've just begun. Thank you. I'd like to thank my colleagues for the work that they put together to start the process last year. And this is just a continuation of the next step in improving downtown Madera and the jewel of our county in terms of the county seat. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess just to add one more thing. One of the great things is, even just kind of piquing interest in the city. There are quite a few organizations who already want to work with us, make sure that we're doing that. Whereas, I just got a call from First Five. They said, hey, we're really excited about that because during their farmers markets, they had the time where it was smoke free, but they want to actually, see if they can put money into to actually get a playground for kids from 0 to 5.
Excellent.
Department of Health wants to work. The Madera Arts Council, actually the State Realtors Association, they all see a need and they understand that we can work together, and that's the only way they actually get things done. It's not just the county working or something or the city working something. It's actually working together with a private-public partnership.
Right. Okay. Is there a way for families to rent space at the park for a day or reserve it?
Actually, right now you're able to do that.
Yeah.
I think I'll have to ask Maria, but I think it's only $150. You get back at the end of it. It's just security deposit.
Yeah.
It's $150. So right now, I think it's a beautiful park. I think it's just underutilized right now. That gazebo is great. We are able to see something happen. So,
although there's no tables there anymore.
We can work on that. Yeah.
Do you have to vote on it? I move. Do you want to move to approve? I'll second Rob's motion.
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez? Yes. Vote passes 5-0. Item 7D, County Clerk, Recorder, and Registrar of Voters. Discussion and consideration of granting authorization to the Clerk, Recorder, and Registrar of Voters to implement the voter confidentiality provisions of Elections Code 2166.7.
This morning I'm asking for the board to authorize me to implement and expand the confidentiality provisions of the election code. What it would do is make confidential the residence address, telephone number, and email address of public safety officers. Thank you. Could you hear me before that?
Yes.
This is my first time here. It would make certain things on their voter registration card confidential for public safety officials, which includes peace officers, judges, government attorneys that are practicing criminal law. And should you authorize it, what we will do is make contact with all of our public safety officers, let them know of the provisions of the law, and give them an application to fill out. That confidentiality would last for approximately 2 years, and then they would have to renew that again.
Second.
First and second, roll call.
I'm sorry, call for the vote is Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
And I didn't hear the second, I'm sorry.
Wheeler.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you very much.
But I still want to get David Lynn's address and phone number from any of his.
Oh, I'll give you.
I'll give it to you.
Item 7E, Agriculture Commissioner Sealer Voice and Measures. Introduction of an ordinance amending Section 9.92.030 and adding Section 9.92.035 and Section 9.94.045 of the Madera County Municipal Code pertaining to the discharge of firearms on public and safety properties in Madera County. Waive the reading and set the hearing for April 18, 2017 at 10 a.m.
Supervisor Stevie McNeil, Madera County Ag Commissioner. And you were giving me direction in the past to come back with a proposal for an ordinance change on the discharge of firearms on specific spots in Madera County. These areas are specifically named in the ordinance. There are places like Madera Lake, Yosemite Lake Parks, Madera Ranchos, this type of place where there's a prohibition on the discharge of firearms. There is one exemption for the sheriff. However, he's spread pretty thin, and plus you have to have the knowledge of all the federal and state wildlife laws, what you can do, what you can't do, what you can trap. Each species has got its own restrictions on there, so it's pretty in-depth. The prohibitions were put on for the purpose of safety and county liability, and but our concern is that when we have predators coming down and when things start to dry up, they will be coming down. We're talking about mountain lions, bears, feral swine, this type of thing. I know personally we're seeing an uptick in the diseases on the feral swine. They carry some really nasty things. And in the O'Neill's area, we had a positive ID of pseudorabies a couple months back. And the diseases they have can be passed on to mammals, which includes humans, pets, livestock, this type of thing. Pseudorabies can be lethal to livestock and pets. We kind of have a catch-22 because if any of these predators are trapped or restrained in these areas, you're not able to discharge the firearm. So we kind of have a little rub there. I worked closely with our risk manager, Darren McCandless, and this was also vetted by county council. It's very narrowly crafted to where to fit Darren's requirements for the county, to where someone would have to be under contract with the county. They'd have to provide liability insurance. And so it can't just be anybody. It could be a very specific type of entity that can do this. For instance, right now we do have a contract with USDA for wildlife services, and so they would fit into this exemption. And
this isn't just shooting and killing something on your property.
No,
right?
no.
Yeah.
What this is for predators and wildlife control, and where there's something threatening the safety and property damage of the residents there, where something would need to be. And the way this is crafted is that the predator would have to be restrained prior to dispatching with a firearm. So trapped, restrained, something like that. And then the person that did it would have to do that. And I would like to read this one part here. I don't want to do the whole thing, but to show you how narrowly this is, to where it's going to have to be pretty tight to provide safety to the county. Shall not apply to any person contracted by the county to provide wildlife animal damage management. Discharge of firearms shall be in accordance with applicable federal, state, and local laws, regulations, and licensing requirements. Discharge of firearms in accordance with this section shall occur after any such wildlife is legally trapped, restrained, or contained. Any person with whom the County of Madera contracts as a wildlife damage managed specialist and is subject to this exemption shall indemnify and hold harmless the county, its special districts, elected and appointed officers, employees and agents from any and against any and all claims and liabilities arising out of the exercise of this exemption. Such persons shall provide evidence of such indemnification in writing at the request of the county's risk manager. The entity shall also maintain for the duration of the contract a level of liability insurance and the type and amount determined to be adequate by the county's risk manager. So it holds it pretty tight on who would be able to do this.
This is only from our side. We're not trying to eliminate the rights of people to do what they
Shoot.
do.
this is from our side at best?
This is two sides to this. One is to protect the county. The other thing is to protect the residents, because if these predators come down and are threatening people and their property, what are you going to do? If you trap them, it's illegal to take them someplace else and let them go, because that's just giving your problem to someone else. That's not legal. No sense in trapping them where they are and letting them go, and you can't discharge the firearm. So what are you going to do? And if this is a dangerous animal, that's for the safety of the public also.
So these are already areas where it's not legal for us to discharge a weapon.
Right. There's 16 areas. I could read them if you like.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm getting understanding it correct.
This is pertaining just to those 16 areas.
Yeah. Okay.
They weren't able to before, and because of this, we'll be able to
in those specific 16 areas, because the prohibition is there.
Get it. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yeah, thank you. There's a couple of things. Yeah, and we've talked about this quite a bit in the past. Our federal guy that we hire to do the trapping and everything, like at YOP, if you guys remember, we had this on here last year because he could trap them in it, but he couldn't shoot them.
And he couldn't take it anywhere else.
Right. And so we can't do that either. So we changed some of that. So this is just redefining. So you got added Madera Lakes to it. Is that?
There's two sections in the ordinance. There's one for prohibition, and they almost read exactly the same.
Right.
One is for Madera Lake, and then the other one is for the 15 districts.
Right. And then in the redlined description, under the blue, under section 9.92.010, in the second sentence, and maybe I'm just not reading it right, and my English is not good, but it says permission or discharge of disarms. Does that mean permission to discharge of firearms?
Which section was that again?
Oh, section 9.92.010. It's under wildlife management specialist exemption.
And the question again, sir?
Okay, if you look on the second sentence where it says permission, it says permission or discharge. Isn't that supposed to be permission to discharge? Or is that correct?
Well, this is the way that it was vetted by County Council and Risk Management. They have permission to do it, and they also have discharge.
Permission to discharge, or permission or discharge?
Which section again? I'm trying to follow you.
I think he's trying to see if it should be or to.
Yeah, which section exactly? I'm not.
I caught it last night, and I read it about 5 times.
Yeah, it should be 2. For the record, we'll change the or. We'll change the or to 2.
Eagle eyes.
Scott, explain that again.
Yes, for the record, Supervisor Wheeler has pointed out, I guess it's a typo, but it's permission. The second sentence of section 9.92.010, which is under section 9.92.035, should read permission to discharge.
But then that's also going to change permission to discharge of.
Yeah, so change.
It probably would it's supposed to say permission of discharge.
Permission.
I thought that too.
Permission to discharge.
The better reading should be permission to discharge firearms in accordance with this section shall be after any such wildlife is legally trapped, restrained, or contained. So we'll make that notation. We'll prepare the corrected ordinance and circulate that with the clerk of the board.
Well, the main thing is that when it goes out, I don't want somebody out in the public to read that, some English teacher and something, and say, well, these guys can't even spell 2 and 2 is right. So thank you.
Yeah.
But I agree 100%.
You either need permission or you can just discharge your fire.
Thank you, Professor Wheeler.
I make a motion to approve item 70 with the correction. I'm sorry.
Second. We have first and second. Roll call.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Or?
Supervisor? Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pending legislation, we do have Anthony Duhan to discuss Senate Bill 1.
Long time no talk. Actually, let me pass them out. So I have some notes that I made, but maybe it's helpful for you guys, especially on the back page where it kind of breaks down where the money's going to be going to.
Just Bill?
Oh.
I still don't trust it. Put the money in the right spot.
We're supposed to get
All right. So on April 3rd, I think, is that yesterday?
Yeah.
Yes, yesterday there were amendments to SB 1, a Senate bill. So it's just a transportation bill, which they now are going to be calling the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017. So you guys have been updated before, but like it or not, I do have some reservations on it in regards to Madera County, but this is the most viable bill that's actually going to make it on the floor. So this is most likely the closest one that actually will go into law. So, they said at the moment, they kind of did a bit of background where right now we're spending $17 billion annually just to keep the maintenance for our roads. And so $700 per driver. And there is a $59 billion just backlog of projects that need to get done. In California, we have quite a few roads, and they're having a lot of issues actually trying to maintain those. So they have decided to actually continue with the gas tax, where unfortunately, especially when we're considering gas tax, it hurts usually. It usually hurts disadvantaged communities and also rural areas because those are the ones. So individuals who have low mileage cars and also those who drive more are going to be hurt the most at the pump. Unfortunately, I think that they should be changing it to hopefully maybe a vehicle's miles traveled thing, where actually you pay your taxes off of how much you use on the road, because Teslas and hybrids tear up the road just as much as any other car, and I think we need to address that. But that's not the argument that we're here right now. The SB 1 is kind of here, and they're going to be voting on it fairly soon. So, kind of the big thing is it is going to raise the diesel tax by 20 cents. Also, we'll be taxing those who are providing so actually, gas stations went up. There'll be a 4% tax as well. And 50% of the tax will go to trade corridors. We are one of the trade corridors, hopefully. So that is helpful. And also, there will be a 12-cent tax for unleaded fuel as well. So just any commuter cars, things of that sort, it'll be a 12-cent increase. So we were one of the highest. We had one of the highest gas taxes in the whole country. But after this, we will be the highest. So we will be number one. I don't know if we want to actually be number one on this list, but this is what's going to happen. And also, one thing, interesting thing with this is that if this bill happens, also with inflation, the cost will rise as well. So the thing is, it hasn't been updated as much. So technically, if they updated it just to the 12 cents, it would only match the 1994 rates if we kind of went with inflation. But they just didn't. It was a static rate and didn't move. This one would be moving with inflation. So it will continue to go up. Also, in regards to this, they also has new standards for diesel trucks for transportation. So pretty much if they're older than 13 years old, they would actually have to either be retrofitted, replaced, or retired.
How can we move any goods if they're going to be paying 20 cents extra? Plus the retailer. I'm sorry. I'm not mad at you, obviously. 4%. I want you to know that. But the 4%, the retailer.
That'll be passed on to the customer.
Yeah, that'll be passed on to the customer, and who ends up paying for it. So all of my cheese, all of my product comes in a diesel truck. All that's going to go up. The cost of all goods are going to go up because of this and then they have to retrofit. I mean, we're talking millions of dollars.
They have to retrofit right now anyway. Yeah. All diesel trucks do.
Yeah, so there are especially with I think the Air Board, they are trying to find grants for that. They will be assisting with that, but yeah, they're trying to have cleaner running diesel. So that even also including that, even buses and trucks that are between 14,000 pounds and 26,000 pounds, they can be no older than 2,000. So they can't be. So by 2020, in 3 years, no trucks or buses can be older than 20 years old as well, and that'll change throughout. By 2023, I think they all have to be only. I think that's when it hit the 13 years. So all this would actually come into play November 1st of this year, if they actually vote and approve this. This is backed by the governor as well, so he does plan to do that. There are individuals who have already backed it. So I am asking for I'm not asking for any kind of action today. Just wanted to give you guys an update. Oh, also, new registration fees as well. So one of the nice things, I guess, the electric vehicles will be on the hook a little bit. There will be a $100 yearly registration fee. So they'll consider that the road improvement fee. But that's pretty much the only thing that they're going to be having to do, because obviously they're not going to be filling it at the pump. And for new registration for cars, it ranges. If your car is $5,000 or under, it's only $25, but it could go up to $175 if your car is more than $60,000. So it's kind of a scale, and that's going to be adding to your registration fees yearly. And also, we'll create an independent office of audits and investigations. So there was an amendment that changed. So in the January 26th one, it was the governor would appoint and then the Senate would approve, but now it's just the governor appoints, and there is no need for Senate approval. So I did notice that change in the update for April 3rd. So what? So I guess the question is, what are we going to get out of this? That is the argument. I know the RCRC they actually voted to back this. But it's kind of the thing is, hey, we need money, and I mean, if we talk to Ahmad, we could say, hey, we need money for roads, I completely understand that. And they say, if this is the only thing, then I guess this is what it is. And so we would be on, it said roughly, it was before the amendment. They haven't really brought out new numbers, but right now we would be getting around $9.8 million a year. And so over 10 years, it would be $98 million for our roads and improvement. That is better than some of the other deals that we saw, where the governor's original one, it was more, they were having more money on projects, and the local areas got less money. So I guess that's the positive. And then I don't have where's my back page. There it is. So right now, there are some opportunities I think we can take advantage of. In regards, if you guys see on the back page, there's $15 billion for local street and road maintenance. This is all just for local agencies. $7.5 billion for transit operations and capital. $2 billion for local partnership programs. $1 billion for active transportation programs. $825 million for the regional share of the state transportation improvement program. $250 million for local planning grants. Those are some things that we can, especially with planning grants, if we're able to, if we want to have a more concise plan, we'd be able to get some grants in that aspect. And then also, I guess, on the overall state, there are some things as well. $15 billion for state highway maintenance and rehabilitation, $4 billion for highway bridge and culvert maintenance and rehabilitation. But C and D are kind of the ones that I think that we have opportunity to work. MCTC has been doing a great job. Actually, they've been working with Congressman Costa, and they actually wrote a letter to the California Transportation Commission, saying, kind of highlighting just Madera County in general, which was awesome. I think it was great. So I'm really excited that we are working together with our other elected officials to kind of let them know, hey, this is less an issue about Madera County and residents. Oh, it's a pain to be in that 430 traffic and be go down to 45 miles an hour. But it's more of actually movement of goods. We have to make sure that when businesses are trying to get their products, their produce through, if it's slowing down here, they're losing money. So C and D, where the $3 billion for high priority freight corridors, which 99 is, and also $2.5 billion for congested corridor relief, which 99 is. There's a possibility we can do that. So there are a few more things that are obviously there. But the thing is, one of the nice things that, because we are a smaller county compared to others, is that we may be able to work faster when the money comes out. It's kind of going to be a scramble. There's going to be.
Anthony, we have some questions from the supervisor, Supervisor Wheeler.
Yes, I hope I can answer.
I got a bunch of questions. First thing, right off the bat, the zero-emission vehicles will now pay $100 a year. Not even close enough for what they do, like a regular car does for damage on our roads. So that, if we're going to do anything to support any of this, I would put that in there, no, on that one. It's got to be a lot more, because if you add up what we're paying in tax already for our gas, and they add that extra 12 cents, that $100 will be spent in a month. So that number is ridiculous, because they got to pay their fair share. On the back page, I'd go right down that list, and everything it says for transit, transportation programs, regional sheriff, the state transportation improvement programs, parks programs, off-road vehicles, and all that. We pay that already in our green sticker tags. The integrated share of the state transportation improvement program, the freeway service patrols, and the University of California, all those, we should say no to all of them. If we're going to put this money for roads, they know, we don't have to do no more studies. They know what they are. They're billions of dollars behind. They haven't done nothing on our roads for 20 years, haven't done nothing for our taxes for 20 years to help them. This money should be all for the roads only, roads improvement. All this other stuff should be no. I would never vote for this if it had all that other goodies for the people who just want it for their back door and their back pocket in their little cities.
Okay. Supervisor Fraser?
I was going to echo that. I wanted to know, how much of this is actually going to go into maintenance, how much is it going to go into by the own LAOs in California's admission. Caltrans is overbloated by like 980 employees or something like that.
Yeah, 500 million. Try 2,500.
Yeah.
That's according to CAO.
Yeah. So are we going to? Is this just going to be backfilling salaries? No offense to any bureaucrats in the, but it's so I don't know. It's just so hard to do. And
we got to support a tax.
We have to support
and the fees for the roads. But these other things, why are they throwing all this other fluff in there?
To get votes,
like you just said.
It's to get votes for these old
particular people.
Mm-hmm. And so they're not going to pass it without this in it. It's like an earmark that's just going to go to their area. We need the money. I want to take the 9.8 when it comes around. This is I believe it's going to go through. The governor's behind it now. I don't want to support it.
No. Anthony, is this what the governor is supporting?
Yes.
This year?
So he had his own plan. And then, there was AB1, SB1, and then the governor's plan. Finally, because the governor said there needs to be one plan by spring break, which is going to be, I believe, the end of this week on Thursday, or there will be no transportation plan that's going to be going on this fiscal year.
Anthony, wasn't there a clause in that proposal that a state amendment that the money would only be spent for transportation?
I don't think it was passed.
No, well, so
probably took it out.
So no, they have in here. This is going to be a constitutional amendment, correct? Where it can only be spent on what they say it's being spent on, because that was a big deal. I think that was in all AB1, SB1, and the governor's plan.
Correct.
The problem is it says it's a constitutional amendment that says it will spend the money on transportation related items. And so then they put all of those in.
Caltrans, those are all considered transportation.
Yeah, everything is a transportation item if Caltrans or the state. Yeah, we're buying new shoes for Norm out of this because he walks to work and.
Anthony, you get the feeling, we think it's just too much into this bill. I don't support it.
I understand. Here's the thing, this is a great plan. I really wish we could all afford Teslas and be able to drive around and have public transportation and have a bar and whatnot. But the issue is that's not the Central Valley. This unfortunately is going to hurt the Central Valley the most out of any other area. I'm not up there making the laws. I'm just here to just to give you guys information.
Yeah, but the purpose of this bill is to highway reconstruction, road maintenance, and all that kind of stuff. Then they go into other things, which is kind of a spreading that money around. We don't want that. Dave Roger, you have the floor.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said so far from Tom and Brett and everybody. My biggest problem with the amendment, it doesn't really say anything, or the constitutional amendment, where it directs the money towards transportation uses. That can be anything, and it pads Caltrans. Caltrans is overemployed by $500 million a year. They're over budget on every project. They need to deal with this albatross that's sucking the life's blood out of the transportation system, parcel it out to private, or I would say eliminate Caltrans altogether and its 8,000 engineers and parcel it out to the counties. Let the counties repair the highways and roads with all the money granted based on mileage systems. And I think that would take care of the whole picture.
Supervisor Poitras?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, the bottom line is we live in a place called California, and the Central Valley represents 12% of the population, and we're hopelessly outvoted. We're not only a minority, we're a super minority in regards to Sacramento. And so these things that are on here, I mean, we can moan and groan and gripe and all that stuff, but it's, it's just the way it is, and it may not pass. There's 2 votes that they still need to get on the Democrat side to even pass this thing. But the other thing is, just to bring up the Republican proposal, was going to take money from the general fund. I think it was like $5.9 million. The only problem with that is, again, we're in the state of California, and where do you think that even if it had a chance, I mean, it's not even dead on arrival. It was like, anyway. It was your thoughts. Exactly. Shot in the thoughts. Yeah, exactly. And, where do you think that money's going to come from? I could see, we talked about, our general fund at risk from this HHS deal. I think it was, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars it was going to be, but think how much more because of who controls Sacramento. If the Republican bill did pass, our general fund would be at risk because that money would not come from Sacramento. It would be stolen right from our county. So unfortunately, it looks like we're going to continue to have these issues just because of, the ideological issue. Exactly.
Yeah, so in reference to that was AB 496, and it kind of, they went through the general fund, but it would, like I said, we are stressed already with the idea of this IHSS funding that may be coming to the county. So it's good an idea, and it's a kind of good statement, but unfortunately, when you actually look at the nitty-gritty and actually look at the ones and twos, then
it protects the Republicans in their districts to say we have a bill, but it's not going to go anywhere, but it looks good.
Yes, sorry to be very bad news today, you guys, but I do appreciate your time.
$1.5 million sign that the state of California is putting in.
Well, you have the feeling of the board, Anthony. So, Go ahead.
Yeah, I just Anthony, thank you for the update, Anthony. Right. Thank you for the update, and I think that's what you were more asking than anything, right? Just an update on this.
Yes. I asked for no actions, and we don't.
Thank you for the measures. Great information for us to have to take to our constituents, and so when, especially lately, and like the one gentleman got up here on the roads that talk, it's unbelievable since the winter's over. At least one a day, at least either call or email. Yeah. When are you going to fix my road? Well, I try to tell them we don't have the money because they have not done nothing for over 2.5 years in legislature to help us get dollars for our roads.
All right, folks, let's adjourn. We'll be back at 1:30.
Thank you.
Have the environment sing it.
What's that for? Get their attention, huh? What's that for, Norm?
That's not the way you sing it.
That's Fresno County's.
City of Fresno. There's a whole bunch of problems with that. Right. One way or another, we would have to transfer the video. Yeah. Mi amigo?
You want to get over all these hurdles? Come to Madera. We'll show you how you
How do you do it?
Eric hungry.
Wow. You know something's horribly gone wrong in planning when you eat a promotion.
So she was telling her mom.
Wow.
For milk, you just take the milk in account. That's what. She told that on the phone.
Chairman, did you want to do supervisors and staff reports before you go into closed session?
Yes, last Thursday and Friday I was at the annual California Council of Governments meeting, and it was a good meeting. We covered a lot of ground, had a lot of speakers. There were some interesting sessions. It was interesting because there wasn't a whole lot of discussion about the governor's proposal because it had just come out and people had a chance to digest it. But there was discussions about becoming a self-help county, and of course we're already there, and also solutions to mitigate the effect of rising pension costs, which I thought was kind of interesting, but didn't have much to do with transportation, but had a whole lot to do with accounting. Thank you.
I talked about the roundabout, and I just can't thank the staff for that. But also we had LAFCO, which you and I were there last Tuesday night, and we had a great number of people there. And I got to give a handout to our staff again because they LAFCO staff done a great job because all the questions we got asked at the two public hearings before that and all the written questions, they answered every one of them beforehand and had them for the people there. And there was this couple that don't necessarily care for Tom Wheeler, and they've made some statements at the last hearing. They actually come up, the husband and wife both, and thanked me after the meeting and shook my hand. So that made me feel good that our staff have done a good enough job to ease their minds about our doing these consolidation of all these districts. So it was really nice. Don't you think, Max? I mean,
Yes, it was very
so
informative.
Yeah.
A lot of cooperation. Good meeting.
I attended the SJJPA.
I have nothing to report.
What about your sore eye?
Huh? Yeah, I can report on that. Like Tom said, the LAFCO meeting was very informative, and also the people got answers for their questions. I had submitted a month before, I believe. So that went well. Attended the victim services ceremony at their office over there, the partnership. And they had a lot of people there. They had good food and good presentation, and they had photos of all the people that had been abused. And it was kind of sobering. And it's really serious what's going on, but they're doing a fantastic job. I attended the Cesar Chavez event Sunday. A lot of people there. They had a march. I couldn't attend the march, but I was there in the afternoon, gave a little speech. And these are people that work out in the fields, and they're very worried about how the immigration laws are going to be implemented and to what degree. So we didn't have any answers, but we will in the future. That is my report.
Thank you. Eric?
Counsel?
Sir? Nothing to report. We can go into closed session if that's the wish.
Is there one more thing? What's a mod doing sitting there?
Do we have anything? Okay. Well, let's finish up with closed session items.
If you'll call the meeting or reconvene the meeting, I'll report out. Reconvene. We are reconvened in open session. There was no action taken. There was no action taken in closed session on any of the items, either in this morning's or in this afternoon's session.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. We're adjourned.